The musty smell of the estate sale mixed with expensive perfume as my cousins followed me through the crowded Victorian house, their presence as unwelcome as their commentary. "Oh my God, Meredith, are you seriously touching that?" Cousin Sloane wrinkled her surgically perfected nose at the 1960s Halston dress I was examining. "You don't know where it's been. Probably someone died in it." "Everything here is literally garbage," her sister Portia added, scrolling through her phone while carefully avoiding contact with anything. "I can't believe we left brunch at the club for this." I ignored them, running my fingers along the dress's seams, checking the construction. Hand-finished. Original zipper. The label was slightly frayed but authentic. My heart raced the way it always did when I found something special. "At least try to pretend you have standards," Sloane continued, loud enough for other shoppers to hear. "Shopping in dead people's clothes? It's honestly embarrassing. Thank God none of our friends can see this. You could afford real designer clothes if you got a proper job," Portia added helpfully, "instead of playing dress-up with someone's trash." I'd been hearing variations of this for 3 years, ever since I'd started seriously collecting vintage fashion. To my cousins, anything that didn't come with a current season price tag and a Madison Avenue shopping bag was beneath consideration. "This Halston is worth more than your entire outfit," I said quietly, folding the dress carefully into my basket. Sloane laughed, that brittle sound she'd perfected at Swiss finishing school. "A moldy old dress worth more than current season Chanel? You're delusional. It's not moldy. It's museum quality. And yes, this particular Halston from his exclusive collection is worth about $15,000. $15,000? Portia snorted. "For something that smells like mothballs and broken dreams? Please." I moved to the next room, where boxes of accessories were laid out on tables. My trained eye immediately spotted treasures among what others dismissed as junk. A pair of Roger Vivier pumps, an Hermès scarf with a rare print, a Judith Lieber minaudière hidden under a pile of plastic bangles. "This is so gross," Sloane announced, taking photos for her Instagram story. "Watching my cousin shopping in garbage again. Hashtag thrift store trash, hashtag family embarrassment." "At least blur my face," I requested, examining a 1950s Balenciaga coat that made my pulse quicken. "Why? Ashamed of your hobby?" Portia smirked. "You should be. Do you know what people say about you? That you're the weird cousin who wears dead people's clothes." "They're not dead people's clothes. They're pieces of fashion history." "They're used clothes," Sloane corrected. "Pre-owned. Second-hand. Worn. Discarded. Trash." I found a Pucci dress from the 1970s, the print still vivid, the silk perfect. Into the basket it went. "Remember when she wore that old dress to the country club gala?" Portia asked her sister. Everyone was talking about it. "Because it was a 1953 Norman Norell that belonged to Grace Kelly," I said patiently. "It's been documented in 3 fashion history books." "Because it looked like you raided someone's attic," Sloane corrected. "Which you literally did." My phone buzzed. I ignored it, focused on a box of handbags that had just been brought out. My assistant knew not to bother me during a hunt unless it was urgent. "Oh look," Portia held up a beaded purse mockingly. "Another treasure for Meredith's trash collection. What's this one worth, $1 million? I took the purse from her, my hands trembling slightly. "Actually, yes. Close to it. This is a Cartier minaudière from 1925. See the maker's mark? The Art Deco design? Museums would kill for this." Both cousins laughed. "Museums," Sloane mocked. "Right. I'm sure the Met is dying for your garbage finds." My phone buzzed again. Then again. Insistently. "Someone's trying to reach the trash queen," Portia observed. "Probably the health department about your hoarding problem." I pulled out my phone, saw 17 missed calls from my assistant James, and my blood ran cold. He knew better than to interrupt a hunting session unless. "Meredith." James's voice was breathless when I answered. "Where are you?" "I've been calling. The Winthrop estate sale." "What's wrong?" "Wrong? Nothing's wrong. Everything's right. She's here." "Who's here?" "Anna Winter. The Anna Winter. She's at the showroom for the private viewing. She came early." The room tilted. I gripped the edge of the table. "She's what?" "Anna Winter is here to see your collection. The Vogue feature, remember? The September issue? She decided to come personally." Sloane and Portia had gone quiet, staring at me. "I'll be there in 20 minutes, I said, my voice surprisingly calm. "Show her to the main viewing room. Offer her the 87 Cristal, not the champagne. And James? Pull the McQueen archive. She mentioned wanting to see it in her email. Already done. Meredith, she brought half the Vogue editorial team. And photographers. This is huge. I ended the call, my mind racing. The estate sale treasures would have to wait. Did you just say Anna Wintour? Portia's voice was faint. And Vogue, Sloane added, her phone hanging limply in her manicured hand. I have to go, I said, gathering my selections. The September issue feature on my collection. She wants to see everything before the Met acquisition. The Met? Sloane's voice cracked. The Metropolitan Museum? They're acquiring 40 pieces from my collection for their upcoming exhibition on American fashion collectors. Didn't I mention that? I hadn't, of course. They'd never asked about my work, too busy mocking it. This is a joke, Portia said desperately. You're making this up. I paid for my items quickly, nearly $30,000 worth of trash, and headed for the door. My cousins followed, their designer heels clicking on the old wooden floors. You can't just leave. Sloane grabbed my arm. If Anna Wintour is really, we should come. We're family. The same family who just posted #ThriftStoreTrash on Instagram. I pulled up her story, showing her own words back to her. The family who thinks I'm shopping in garbage? We were joking. Portia said frantically. You know we support you. Really? Name one piece in my collection. Tell me what I specialize in. Mention any aspect of my work that doesn't involve mocking it. Silence. That's what I thought. I loaded my purchases into my car. Enjoy the rest of the estate sale. Try not to touch anything. You might catch poor people germs. Meredith, please. Sloane's voice had shifted from mockery to desperation. Anna Wintour. We could meet her. Do you know what this could do for our social media? I know exactly what it could do, I said, starting my car. Which is why you're not coming within 50 feet of her or my collection. I drove away, leaving them standing in the driveway of the estate sale, their designer bags suddenly looking as cheap as their behavior. 20 minutes later, I walked into my showroom, a converted warehouse where I housed my collection of over 3,000 vintage pieces, all meticulously catalogued, preserved, and displayed. Anna Wintour stood in the center of the main room, her iconic bob perfect, her sunglasses reflecting the light from the crystal chandeliers I'd installed to properly showcase the pieces. Meredith, she said, turning to me. This is even more impressive than the photos suggested. Thank you for coming personally. I managed, still slightly stunned that the editor-in-chief of Vogue was in my space. When I heard about your collection, I had to see it. Do you know how rare it is to find someone your age with such a sophisticated eye for vintage? Most collectors focus on labels. You focus on artistry. She moved through the room, examining pieces with the practiced eye of someone who'd spent decades at the pinnacle of fashion. This fortune, she paused at a pleated silk gown. How did you find it? An estate sale in Maine. The family had no idea what they had. They were using it to store Christmas ornaments in the attic. She smiled, a rare occurrence. And you recognized it. The pleating is unmistakable once you know what to look for. It took 6 months to properly restore. This is what separates collectors from hoarders, she told her team. The knowledge, the eye, the respect for the craft. We spent 3 hours going through my collection. She asked about provenance, restoration techniques, storage methods. She was particularly impressed by my archive of designer sketches and documentation. The Met is lucky to have you, she said finally. And Vogue readers will be fascinated by your story. A young woman rescuing fashion history from estate sales and thrift stores? It's romantic. It's necessary. It's brilliant. My cousins call it shopping in garbage, I said without thinking. She turned, one eyebrow raised above her sunglasses. Your cousins sound tedious. Fashion is about vision, not price tags. Some of my most iconic shoots featured vintage pieces, bought for pennies that were worth fortunes. The eye matters. The knowledge matters. The rest is just noise. As her team photographed pieces for the feature, my phone exploded with messages. Sloane, is this real? Mom just showed me WWD announcing the Vogue feature. Portia, the September issue? The actual September issue? Sloane, why didn't you tell us? Portia, we could have helped. We know fashion. Sloane, call us back. This is huge. We're family. I silenced my phone. Problems? Anna asked, noticing. Just my cousins discovering that their trash-picking relative is being featured in Vogue. Ah, she nodded knowingly. There's always family members who mock until success is undeniable. Then suddenly they're your biggest supporters. Tale as old as time. They wanted to come today. after spending the morning mocking me for shopping at an estate sale. What did you find at the estate sale? She asked, genuinely curious. I showed her photos on my phone, the Halston, the Balenciaga, the Cartier Minaudière. My God, she breathed. The Halston is from the Martha Graham collection. I remember that dress. And the Cartier? Museums will go to war over that. My cousins thought it was trash. Posted about it on Instagram, actually. Hashtag thrift store trash. Anna Wintour did something I'd never seen in person, she laughed. Actually laughed. Show me, she commanded. I pulled up Sloane's Instagram story. Anna watched it, her expression unreadable behind her sunglasses. May I? She asked, gesturing to my phone. I nodded, curious. She typed quickly, posting a comment on Sloane's story from my account. Thank you for documenting my trash finding. The Halston I'm wearing in the September issue of Vogue came from similar garbage. There, she said, satisfied. Let them chew on that. The notification explosion was immediate. I turned off my phone entirely. The September issue came out 6 months later. 8 pages of my collection, my story, my passion for preserving fashion history. The headline, The Vintage Visionary, How Meredith Palmer Became Fashion's Most Important Young Collector. The morning it hit newsstands, I received a package. Inside was a formal invitation to the Met Gala with a handwritten note from Anna. Wear something vintage. Something your cousins would call trash. Show them what vision looks like. I wore the Halston from the estate sale, restored to its original glory. The same dress Sloane had mocked me for touching. Walking the Met steps, photographers screaming my name, I thought about all the estate sales, all the thrift stores, all the garbage I'd sorted through to build something extraordinary. My phone had hundreds of messages from Sloane and Portia, from family members who'd suddenly remembered how they'd always supported my collecting. I archived them all without reading. Some collections are built with credit cards and shopping sprees. Others are built with knowledge, patience, and the ability to see treasure where others see trash. As Anna Wintour had said in the article, in fashion, as in life, vision is everything. Meredith Palmer has it. Her cousins clearly do not. The garbage I'd collected was now worth several $1,000,000, with pieces in museums, on red carpets, and in the pages of fashion history. And Sloane's designer bags? They looked cheaper every season. Turns out the real trash was never in the thrift stores. It was in the attitudes of people too small-minded to recognize greatness, just because it didn't come with this season's price tag.